spicy. I was enjoying it. So, of course, I've lost my whole train of thought, so I'm just going to walk you. My name is Willie Turral. The whole lighter?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Willie Turral. I was born on St. Helena Island. I'm a resident here. I won't go through my whole resume. I spent probably a good bit of my working adult life in public service, 12 years in public service. I spent 5 years working with youth. I was a counselor, then a director at a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping troubled youth. I spent the next 5 years teaching at St. Helena Elementary School, so Title I school, and now I'm in law. I'm here tonight because I'm concerned, to be honest. I have some concerns, a lot of concerns. And I think many of you share the same concerns that I have. But still, being in Sun City, it's almost, it's weird. As I look around, and I'm like, where are the young black guys at here? We're like, this is not the venue for them. But, often when I go talk, in front of conservative crowds, there's two things missing, minorities and young people. Now, I'm gonna tell you why that's very alarming, and it really is a symptom of a much greater and much more sinister plot. We all have different roads that we take. Many of us have taken different roads to get to Sun City. Some of us were born here, right, in Beaufort County. Some of us may have had a military parent that had a brief run-in with Beaufort County that came back to retire. Some of us may have been working out in the world and then we fled from some liberal policy or some crime or something that just ran us away, and we went to find a refuge, and we found Beaufort County, and we fell in love with it, right? We love Beaufort County, right? Correct? Are we good with that?
Yes.
I mean, it's not Jasper, we have high taxes, seriously. So there's many roads we all take to get somewhere. I think the same runs true for the conservative party, right? There are many roads that we might take to bring us to be conservative. I want to tell you a little bit about the road I took and why I think it's important that you hear my story. And then I'm going to ask something of you, which I hope that you agree to give me. So let me just give you a little background real quick. I was born in a family of Jehovah's Witness, right? And so being born into a Jehovah's Witness family is kind of awkward because when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, I wasn't allowed to do it in school. Think about it, it's crazy. And automatically you start to feel ostracized and very weird. But there are some great things in that upbringing. One thing that it did instill in me was defending myself or defending my beliefs. At that point in time, it was my parents' beliefs, fair enough, but I still felt charged. I mean, I attended service every Sunday, I went to Bible study, and I was ready to get up and defend the belief, regardless of how others in the room felt about it. Now, it was very uncomfortable because you get up, it's December's rolling around, everybody's making a little snow house, and then the art lady comes and says, "Oh, really? You can't make the snow house. Your parents are Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't celebrate Christmas." And I'd be frustrated, and I'm like, okay, but it's okay. And the kids start heckling and say, "Oh, you don't do this," and I had to get up and I said, well, I had to defend this belief, and I would stand up and I would tell them the reason, because even though now as an adult, I don't necessarily agree, they did have a reason, a logic to why they did it. And in the Jehovah's Witness faith, they believed that God was the only kingdom in which they belonged to. That's what they believe. They believe that God is the only sovereign ruler, and being that he is the only sovereign ruler, and that's the only kingdom they belong to, they did not get themselves involved in any political affairs of this world. That was the belief. So I would have to stand up and defend this, right? Now, as I got older, I got a chance to choose for myself, and I just like Christmas songs so much that I just had to start, doing Christmas. And I did. I was a good boy. I did what I was supposed to do. I mean, Halloween was a little tough. Free candy. All I needed was a sports jersey. I can get candy. I mean, I just had to sneak out a couple butt whippings, but I survived, right? But as I got older, I made decisions for myself. But one thing I held true to is, if you believe in something wholeheartedly, you stand up, right? And you fight for it. Regardless if the pressure is on you, or regardless of everybody says go this way or the next way, you stand up and you advocate for what you believe in. And I think this helped me a lot, because I found myself later in life getting involved politically. And I'm gonna tell you how that happened. So I've been in public service, and I was the only elementary school teacher at St. Helena Elementary School. And so working with the young boys at AMI Kids, being an elementary school teacher, I kind of had this, I was known in my community, St. Helena Island, for the go-to guy, right? If you got your sons getting in trouble, call Mr. Turral, help him out. Your daughter's struggling in math, call Mr. Turral, help him out. I got very involved. We started nonprofits and doing a lot of good things. So at one of these events we're doing for the community, they had the voter registration desk set up, and I went and talked to my friend Najma Thomas. She's a professor at USCB, and we're going to talk about things going on. Oh, she was so disappointed in this and disappointed in that. And I could concur. I mean, I felt the same way. I was very disappointed in a lot of things. And then we started talking about who's the representative. And so we had this guy, I'm not even say his name, who's representative on St. Helena. And of course, he's a Democrat. Oh, there goes Will. He's a Democrat, and he sucks at his job. But we were just talking about how bad he just was at it. And I told this guy, Daryl Orridge, who was on the Guller Geechees Farmers Co-op, I said, Daryl, you ought to run. You ought to run against this Glover guy and take him out. And Daryl said, I don't know. I got a lot of things going on. So why don't you run? Willie, why don't you run? I said, man, I don't know. Now, I had just a week ago did a speech at Penn Center, and I encouraged the crowd. I said, let's get involved. Let's get involved. Let's go out and vote. Go out and run. As a matter of fact, if you go out and run, I'll vote for you. And now Daryl says, Willie, why don't you run? And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll run. And so we looked at the schedule, right? And we literally had missed the deadline to even get on the ballot. We completely missed it, right? They had made an extension, I think for COVID or something. And we had 3 days. We had 3 days, so 2.5 really, after we talked that day. We had 2.5 days. I think we needed to get like 7,000 or 6,000, some crazy number. We needed a bunch of signatures in a few days. And we were like, are we gonna get this done? So we were hitting Publix, we were trying to get signed signatures, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't make it, right? So then I said, you know what, forget the signatures. I'm gonna be a write-in. Then I had back surgery, and everybody fell off. Then it kind of died away. Then I was riding down the road, and I kept seeing these signs, these campaign signs on the side of the road, and God just kept tugging on me. And I was like, what? I talk to God sometimes, I talk crazy. Like, what do you want me to do? You keep pulling on my spirit, but I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? And he says, well, he didn't really talk to me, but this is what I think he was saying. He said, you don't have to win, you just have to run. He says, you don't have to win, you just have to run. And literally, voting had started. It was almost over. I literally got like 5 days to the end of the election. I called my friend Jamie Fleming. I said, Jamie, remember I told you about running? He was like, yeah, Willie, that was like a month and a half ago. You still thinking about it? I was like, yeah, I got to do it. He was like, you serious? I said, I'm so serious. I said, I need a campaign video. So I got this campaign video from Jamie. We shot it in like one day. And we shot it out social media. And I mean, people came out, they were ready to support. Now I lost really bad. But I ran. And I got 10% on the write-in ballot. 10% on the write-in ballot. 5 days campaign. I mean, it was good. But I still didn't have a political identity. I didn't have one. This is not far ago, this is 2 years ago. I had no political identity. So I started thinking to myself, I said, I gotta figure out where I fall. If I flip the chip, where do I land? So I went on these websites, and I'm well read, so I know about liberals and Democrats and all the political things, but it was more than just Because there's a problem, especially in the African American community, there's a problem with cultural tags. It's like, I think our good friend Joe Biden said, right? You're not black if you don't vote Democrat. Yeah. He says it's not racist, that's crazy. So, there's a problem, right? You're born into this political identity. Thank God, you know, and Joe Witness too, that I never was exposed to pressure or pushed any way politically. So I was apolitical, and I had to figure out my identity. So I went on the Democratic website, I looked around, and I said, okay, it looks all right. Then I went on the Republican website, and I looked around, and then I clicked on something that said, South Carolina Republican Creed. I said, this is getting interesting. So I hit the button, and I started reading, and I said, oh man, my eyes just started getting big, and I said, oh yeah, I like this conservative thing. This is where it's at for me. And then I started digging into the values, and I really started looking at legislations. I mean, I went all the way back to 1860 civil rights legislation. I started thinking, like, where do I line up? And I realized that my identity, what was important to me, right? My values, faith, right? Family, freedom, that was important to me. And those were the policies, and those were the values of a conservative platform. And I said, you know what? This is it for me, right? This is why I'm a conservative, and this is why I'm here. And I think we have gotten so far away from the why. We've allowed a lot of people to just tell us what, without asking any question to why. And you know what happens to the what? When you get elected, it goes away. You say you're a Republican, okay, great. You run on that, okay, great. You tell me everything I want to hear. It sounds really good. Then you get up to Capitol Hill and you do the exact opposite of everything you said that you would do. That's a what type of person. That's not a why type of person. We need people who have a why. Because the why carries you through the muddy days. That's what keeps you going. I'm in a room, and I love being in Sun City. As a matter of fact, when I ran, I only got one donation for running, and it was a Sun City member. I don't see him here, so he must be liberal. That's great. So he was my mentor of the Call Me Mr. program. When I graduated from USCB, the Call Me Mr. program. Phil was supposed to read that, but he skipped it. And so my mentor, Larry Jackson, he lives in Sun City. He's the only person who donated. He says, Willie, this is something that you're gonna be great at. And he sent me a donation. So I got a special thing in my heart for Sun City. But the powerful thing about being here is the wisdom in the room, right? This is an accomplished room. This is not a room, I deal with sometimes the young Republicans, but these guys are young, and I'm not so young. I got a lot of gray hairs. And so I'm dealing with a lot of younger people. I'm in law school. Sometimes these young folks drive me crazy. And y'all might have some kids, so y'all might know. The young ones have been poisoned really, really bad. And sometimes it is even hard to carry on a conversation with them. It's hard because the way they see the world is so wrong and misguided. And it comes from the left, the media. Mm-hmm. And again, I say, it's a more sinister plot than you would understand. And how they target people. Specifically, they target the young, they target the minority, they target people who are in low economic classes, right? You look at, I'm not gonna go there, I'm not gonna do that one. I was gonna do one, but I'm not gonna do that one. So listen, I'm gonna say this. When you draw your power, right, from a base of social and economically disadvantaged people, the only way for you to remain in power is you must keep that base. They don't wanna let them go. And the young ones, when you start to buy into the Kool-Aid, you start to do things like vote for a tax or vote for a referendum that's going to make government bigger and your voice smaller, right? And, coming here in my path here, I tell you, it's not always easy. It's not. On St. Helena Island, in my community, in my precinct, I have one Republican in my precinct. it's me. And you know, I try to recruit sometimes, and I do pretty good, really. I really do. I have them like they're right here. I'm reeling them in, talking values. They loving it. Faith and family, they agree. You know, a lot of minorities and people go to church. People agree. This is still a God-fearing nation. There's a lot of people that are very in common. And you know the one thing that separates a lot of them from me? A name. That's it. They're all in for everything I say conservative until I say conservative. Or until I say Republican. But then the poisoning kicks in, right? The trigger. Oh, did you vote for Trump? You know, that's what happens. It's a sin of surplus. And they're targeting the youth, and they're targeting those who don't know, and they're targeting those who need help. Because if you look at it biblically, when you get hungry enough, you sell your birthright for a bowl of soup. Mm-hmm. And it's happened. So we have to fight back against that, right? Because while I'm in Sun City and I'm in this accomplished room, and I know I'm talking to people who understand what I'm saying, you got to understand that your kids, your grandkids, their kids are in peril. They are in danger. And I'm going to tell you, it's deep and it's rich. And I'm going to tell you, I stood up for my beliefs. I did, but it was tough. It was tough. And every time I could crumble, you know, sometimes I did crumble. I just, because it just was so awkward being a part of the grain. And the left they have such a big swoop and grab that even if your kids would start to fight back and start to mount a defense, they would be so overwhelmed by the talking majority.
Cancel culture.
Oh, you better be quiet. You'll get labeled quick. They called me a racist the other day. I said, I don't know how you figured out that. You know, I didn't even get it. I was confused. And we got to fight back against that because just imagine a bridge builder, right? Imagine a guy who puts his whole life into building this bridge, but forgets to build a family to cross. What good did you do? Right. You know, what good do you serve if you hold on to these values, but your kids let them go, and their kids let them go? Who's going to run the nation? It's bad enough the majority of Republicans don't even vote and act Republican. How much of a detriment are we at when people are openly, they're encouraged to destroy America? That's sad. I mean, we have government, big government, who picks winners and losers. They decide, your business closed and you stay open. You got school systems that should be teaching reading, writing, and math, and even though we struggle, we're one of the lowest education systems. Instead of you getting us better to the 3 R's, you're talking about CRT. Yes. What are you talking about? I don't understand how you can take the Pledge of Allegiance out of school, but put this garbage in there, right? Like that's going to benefit anybody. But see, it's all designed to do the same thing. It's all designed to accomplish the same goal. That's a divided America. That's a scared America. That's a frightened America. And when everybody can be scared and frightened and then come to us, the big government, we will save you. They ain't saving nobody. I'm going to just tell you right now. They're not saving anybody. I think as a teacher, I might need to just go back to teaching and doing history lessons. Because if you don't hold on to history, you're in trouble. And we got to remember that this great project, this republic, which we call America, the whole reason this came into being was because people were fighting back against a tyrannical government that did not represent them, that did not care for them, but was more than willing to tax them. That's how this country was founded. Big government has been, and always will be, the enemy of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There's no getting away from it. And now we have a generation of people coming who don't believe and don't even know what American values are. We're in trouble. Not to mention, the gates are completely open, so you got a whole bunch of people coming in that aren't even American. You got Americans that don't believe in America, and a bunch of people who are not American. This is a recipe for disaster. Oh man, it's bad. But I did come to tell you I needed you to do something. And this one hurts here. I'm going to tell you the worst problem beyond big government, beyond this wicked left, beyond bureaucrats who think that they can control what we put in our bodies, beyond all these things. There's a bigger problem. There's a bigger problem. And it's you. And it's you. And it's you. And it's me. See, when good people do nothing, tyranny wins. It's us. That one hurts a little bit. It does. But we can stop that right now. See, we're all here doing something right now. But what I need for you to do is more. I know, it's a lot to ask, right? You go to the one who's doing all the work and you say, I need you to do more. And it might not even make sense at first, but I used to play football. My coach used to come to me and say, Willie, I need you to do more. I said, well, coach, I made all the tackles. He said, well, get the ball and run some touchdowns too. Unfortunately, that's always going to be the burden. The ones who do are going to have to do more. So what is that more? What more can you possibly do? Well, one, you got to get the kids involved. You got to get your grandkids over to the house, and you got to teach them the Pledge of Allegiance, and you got to go word by word. Because when I used to do the alphabets, I'm telling you, elemental P was one letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, elemental. That was a letter, P. Did not know there was different. Indivisible was like individual or something like that. I don't know. I know it would say something. Those syllables came out. We got to break it down to them. We got to break down what is America. Because this is a project. This is an idea. This is a dream. We can't let it die. The left wants socialism. They want communism. They want Marxism. They don't want America. And they've got these little kids so wrapped up. They're out in the streets fighting to kill America. This is crazy. They couldn't even be communists and do that. Anyway, you can't even be in those countries and do this stuff. You're literally using your American freedom to destroy American freedoms. We gotta recruit. I need everyone. I need you to start making calls. I need to get your sons on the phone, get your grandkids on the phone. Get them to the Beaufort County Young Republican page. Get them to we just got chartered. We're national. There are YRs across the nation. And they're fighting. They're in the fight. We need to get everybody going. Everybody. Everybody. And anybody who's willing to listen, who's willing to fight. Because I believe, and I know you believe, this country, this county, this state, this nation is worth fighting for.
Yes.
Thank you.